하, 진짜 오랜만에 방송하네. 오랜만에 게임을 해봅시다. 아이고, 왜 안 돼? 보시면은 에디슨 핀치스가의 죽음에 관련해서 어떤 일이 발생했는지를 알아보는 건데, 설명하기도 힘드니 일단은 보면서 생각을 하겠습니다. 뭐야 이거? 왜 이래? 뭐야? 아니 이게 시선밖에 이걸 내는 것도 아니고. 뭐지? 이게 이렇게 안 된다고? 어허. 이렇게 누르고 잠깐만. 누르고
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
처음부터 시작하지, 집부터. 이렇게 하면 확대되고, 이렇게 하면 걷기 시작하네. 안녕하세요. 정말 오랜만이네요, 진짜.
I lived here until I was 11. But I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
뭐라는 거야? 계속 가보죠. 네,
I
확인
hadn't been back
감사합니다.
since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
어머니의 유서에 나를 위해 남긴 열쇠가 있었지만 열쇠가 뭘 여는지 알려주지 않았다.
Maybe she thought I'd know.
아마 내가 알 것이라고 생각할 것이다. 아니면 비밀이 궁금해진 내가 돌아올 것이라 생각했을지도 모른다. 소리가 너무 작다고요? 잠시만요. 그럼 세팅 좀 할게요. 컴이 느려가지고 지금 장치에서 사운드 오디오 좀 커졌나요? 마이크 좀 커졌나요? 이제 좀 들리나요? 뭐 일단 이대로 한번 진행해 보겠습니다. 이상은 못 올려가지고 이게 헤드폰을 새로 바꾸긴 했는데 갑자기 어두워지네.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
아주 오랫동안 나 읽을 시간은 줘야지. 자막은 안 읽겠습니다. 그냥 뭐랄까 읽을 시간도 안 주네요. 가슴 운전할 때 조심해야 하는 문제.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
상속을 받았구나.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
미스터리 뭔가를 풀려고 가는 거네요. 확대 버튼 누르겠습니다.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
그냥 조용히 게임 하겠습니다. 여기가 아니구나.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
뭐랄까 진짜 움직이는 기분이네요. 집 근처로 한번 돌아볼까요? 이거 뛰지도 못하고 답답하네. 옆으로 한번 돌아가 보죠. 여기로 들어가네.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
11살 때는 강아지만 하니까요. 주차장인가?
The power had been turned off the night we left.
전원은 나가 있고.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
시골이라서 배달도 한 군데밖에 안 됐구나.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
뭐라는 걸까?
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house after it sank.
오, 연출.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
표현이 참... 이건 뭐지?
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
에디, 증조할머니가 에디라고? 같은 곳에 돌았네. 위층으로 올라가 봐야지. 응? 위층 말고도 있네. 얘 뭐지?
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
밀턴? 실종자구나. 밀턴 오빠는.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
아하. 이건 뭔데 이렇게 막아놨지? 그냥은 못 열 것 같고 올라가 보자.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
헐. 누구는 막고 누구는 드릴로 하고.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
이 집은 다 죽었어. 진짜. 이 기괴한 사진은 뭐지? 동물. 뭐 이렇게 정신이 없어 집안이.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
아, 진짜 멋지게 꾸며놨다 이 방.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
그 열쇠가 아니었네. 조금 미스터리 워킹 시뮬레이션 게임이라서요. 아무래도 좀 그런 감이 있습니다.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
이런데 비밀 장치라고? 어떻게 하는데? 올리는
Now it was
거구나.
time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
처음엔 좀
From
음침하긴
the paintings
한데
on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had
연출이
been here
너무
before me.
멋집니다 이 게임은. 밀턴 오빠는 그림을 좋아했군요.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door.
올리면 되고. 아까 몰리방.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
여기가 몰리방이겠죠? 몰리 맞네요.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
뭐 아무것도 집어갈 수도 없고 그냥 글자만 보네.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind
네,
a
문고리를
painting.
숨겨놓은 거예요, 엄마가. 비밀 장치처럼. 방금 못 읽었는데.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
몰리가 죽고 이 방을 엄마가 잠갔는데 오빠가 몰래 들어왔다. 몰리 핀치. 왜 오빠 이름이 여기 있을까요?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
애가 햄스터인지 다람쥐의 먹이를 뺏어 먹었어요. 토끼인가? 이 물고기의 이름은 크리스토퍼를
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
오씨, 개념 자체가 너무 무서워. 키우는 물고기를 먹을 생각을 해. 왜 이렇게 어두워 근데? 왜 이렇게 어두워졌지? 원래 어두웠나? 잠깐만. 저 빛나는 건 문고리겠죠? 어이, 뭐가 보이지가 않네? 잠깐만요. 아이, 잠깐만. 너무 어두워서 밝기 좀 올릴게요. 밝기를 2칸만 올릴게요.
I ate a lot of things that night.
일단 뭐든 보이면 일단 먹어 치우네. 배고프면 그렇죠 뭐. 변기물도 마시니? 그건 아니네. 허허, 키우는 걸 먹을 생각하는 것부터가
My Halloween
긁었어요.
candy was all gone.
캔디는 없고.
Mom, can I come out now?
잠복.
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
그래도 먹여야 하는 거 아닙니까 원래는?
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest.
이거 먹으려고?
I reached out for her.
먹으려고?
And suddenly, I was a cat.
내가 고양이가 됐어? 얼마나 먹고 싶었으면 그랬을까?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
아니, 움직여! 움직여! 점프! 점프! 진짜 열심히 도망가네. 점프! 점프! 응? 잠깐만. 저기 어떻게 가 저기?
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
엄마? 뭐 어떡하라고? 뛰어내려? 관심 좀. 여기서 어떡하라고요? 거기서 저기 아니 고양아? 고양아 우리 말 듣자. 고양아 우리 말 듣자. 듣자 고양아 말 좀 듣자. 제발 나 뭐 어떻게 해야 하는지라도 알려줘. 힘들어. 새야 새야 내 배로 오렴.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
대야.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was
무슨
eating
나무가
that
이렇게
lumber.
크냐? 이리오.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard
떼에서
was
물뱀이가 된다는 개념도.
then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
갑자기 물뱀이가 되네. 안녕하세요. 네, 저도 정말 오랜만에 합니다. 많은 일이 있었습니다.
Rabbits.
잠깐만, 토끼? 토끼를 잡아야지. 토끼. 토끼는 이 맛있는
Imagined
영양.
his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and
머리채로
I
먹었어.
didn't chew one bit.
방금 봤어요? 토끼를 머리채로
Then flew off
삼켰다고요?
like something bigger.
너무 무서운데? 물뱀이 되게 무서운 존재네?
A mama rabbit.
상상 속이기 때문에 가능하겠지? 이리온.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
토끼.
And suddenly, I was a shark.
와, 진짜 상상력 한번 무섭다. 산 한복판에도 상어가 막 대굴대굴 굴러다니네. 와, 갑자기 3인치 펄떡펄떡거리고. 하나, 둘, 좀 더 내려가 볼까요? 네,
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean.
바다.
Now, I was hungrier than ever.
갑작스럽게 바다.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
아니, 밑은 보지도 못하면서 반대로네? 잠깐 반대로야, 반대로. 잠깐 반대로라고. 잠깐 반대로 움직이자, 우리. 반대로. 이게 너 한 방이니?
And it tasted really good.
맛만 보는 거니? 잔인하지 않게 한 방에 죽여줘. 우리 잔인하지 않게 한 방에 가자.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
갑자기 왜 물 밖으로 나와? 이건 뭐야? 이건 뭐지? 촉수? 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 뭐야, 왜 갑자기
Now I was
괴수물이
a
돼?
monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
이동 짱 불편하네, 진짜. 사람님이 계십니다.
But I moved real quiet.
우와, 이렇게 잔인할 수가. 토끼 한 입에 삼켰을 때부터 인성 나왔었어요, 사실. 네, 그죠? 좀 더 올라가 볼까요? 와.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
멈출 마음이 없어 보이는데. 제가 누르지 않았습니다. 자동으로 먹었습니다. 전 죄가 없습니다. 자, 저분도 한번, 저분은 어떤 맛일지 한번 먹어봅시다. 자, 문 열자, 촉수야. 너 맘대로 움직이지 말고 한 입만 주세요.
I was still hungry. And across the water I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
뭐, 한 입만이 원래 그렇죠, 뭐.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
파이프 안으로 들어갑니다. 이게 뭐 후반에 가면 잔인하진 않아요. 후반에 갈수록. 저도 처음 해봤는데. 그래, 내가 괴수로 인해 공포에 떨 바에야 내 스스로 괴수가 되는 게 낫지.
I got closer and closer.
문을 살짝 열고 내 방이네. 올라가야지. 물론 이 위로 올라가야죠. 아니? 올라가지 않는 거야? 뭐지? 뭐라는 거지?
All of my stomach started growling.
내 위장들이
And
으르렁거리기
suddenly,
시작했다.
I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
자기가 자신을 먹었다는 건가? 무섭네.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
몰리의 죽음 이후 자기 자신을 먹었다. 검은 고양이.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but mom didn't like bringing up the past.
이 게임은
Though, when we adopted a stray kitten,
핀치가
she was the one who named it Molly.
핀치가 예 사람들이 뭔가 빨리빨리 죽었거든요.
I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
그래서 이 핀치가의 죽음의 원인에 대해서
Her room was
확인하는
like a
거거든요.
museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
움직일 수 있네. 뭐야, 더 뭐라고? 뭐이씨, 움직이면은 끝나면서 무슨 뭘 보라는 거야? 그렇지. 뭐지?
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
두더지 인간? 두더지 인간 같은 게 있었어? 이 동네 이상해. 뭔가 이상해.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
죽은 지 일주일 만에 기념하기 시작했고. 아, 진짜 그거 봐야 하나? 아니, 나 보고 싶다고. 어쩌라는 거야. 허허허. 조작이 참 그렇군.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
니트 장갑?
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
정말 판타지스러운
Even in her
가족이네.
90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
아닌 것 같은데.
The only
이거
trace
뭐야?
Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a
Wow.
pretty big trace.
와, 이게 욕실이래요. 이게 뭐냐? 놀랍다. 진짜. 딸깍. 펴봅시다.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look.
What?
It isn't in the cupboard.
천장 안에 있지 않다. 잠깐만. 아니야.
It's hidden in this book.
잠금 배치 다 이렇게 해놨어. 아, 지능적이다 진짜. 여기에서
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
이거는 사진 뽑는 곳인가 보네요. 그죠? 쭈그리고 갑시다.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him.
아, 돌아오셨군요.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
딸깍.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
아, 게임에서 그네를 타는 것도 처음이네요. 잠깐만. 느낌이 있어. 아우, 토 나와. 그네 흔들기에 집중을 해야 하는 건가? 잠깐만. 게임에서 그네 타니까 어떻게 해야지 빨라지는지 까먹었어요. 안 되나? 촉수 괴물이 되고 결국 자기를 먹고 끝났어요. 이게 뭐지? 뭘까요? 아, 앞으로 갈 때 앞인가요? 발차기를 앞으로 갈 때 해야 하나? 제발! 이 아저씨야. 나 벌써 몇십 초째 이러고 있다고. 업, 뒤, 업, 뒤, 업. 뭔가 생기고 있어. 뒤, 업, 뒤, 업, 뒤, 업, 뒤, 업, 뒤, 업, 응? 뒤. 뭐야? 왜 사라졌어? 제 말이? 아니, 이 이상 빨라지지도 않고 나보고 어떡하라는 거지? 제발 내가 여기서 막 잠깐만, 좌우 양발이었어? 아, 나 발 하나인 줄 알았죠? 와, 지금까지 발 하나로 뭐 했냐?
At Barbara's funeral, we swore.
아니, 발 두 개를 따로 조정했던 거야?
I think Calvin always wanted to.
와, 죽자 그냥. 아,
But that day,
와, 죽어야지 그냥. 아,
to do it.
아, 진짜.
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
한 바퀴 돌자. 그래. 한 바퀴 돌아.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt.
가자
I
그래.
think he'd already made up.
위대한 항로.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
야, 내가 무서운데 사실. 와, 죽인다. 와, 안녕 이 세상아, 아름다웠어.
Today he makes money fly, and he didn't.
진짜 날았네. 씁쓸하다.
Calvin's
이렇게
story felt
한
strangely
명의 죽음을 다
familiar. When I
봤습니다.
was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
맞아요. 나도 한번 날아보고 싶었어요. 저걸로 어렸을 때. 접자. 접어. 이게 방향키 둘 다 움직여야 하네. 콘솔에서.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
이제 어디로 가죠? 켈빈.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
그렇군요. 자, 이건 뭐죠? 아니, 원래 한 번쯤 다 하고 싶지 않았어요? 이 집은 참 신기한 장치가 많아. 와, 보이십니까? 우리 집도 이랬으면 좋겠다. 뭐가 있어 보이잖아. 둥.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
왠지 여기 빛이 나오더라. 한번 나가봅시다.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
대하여 V 물어볼 때 저거 오타겠죠? 번역?
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
그 비밀 찾으라고 온 집이니까요, 사실. 집에 방문 이유는 비밀 찾기.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
백스텝. 아니 뭐 다 잠궈놨어 집을. 어? 진짜 집을 다 잠궈 놓다니. 아휴. 잠깐만 이거 뭐지? 아까 거기로 갔어야 하네. 호박 그릇인데. 잠깐만. 아니 내려가자. 내려가야 하나? 3층 다락방 잠겨 있었고, 뭐지? 뭘까요? 결국 제자리로 왔네? 이게 일자 진행이 아니니까 힘드네. 뭐지? 벽난로라도 한번 들어가 봐야 하나? 확대. 이 문 열리나? 안 되네. 괜히 나왔어 중간에. 스트레스. 나에게 길을 보여주소서. 길 몰라서 뒤지치고 싶지 않은데. 여기구나.
The last time I was in Edith's
잠깐만.
senior's room,
나 글씨 못
I was
봤어.
10 and she was painting my portrait.
글씨 못 봤다고. 이럴 수가.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
이 집은 잠가놓은 게 당연스럽다고?
My grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
여기는 다 본방이네. 다 본방이고, 그럼 여기를 봐야겠네. 여기 안 봤으니까. 밤바라.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years,
가문하네.
until America grew out of it.
다시 일로 가고 싶습니다. 알아서 수그리는구나. 진짜 어떻게 이럴 수가.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
이 화질나는 등신등 뭐지? 신기하네.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
자, 이걸 봅시다.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
넘기고 바르바라 핀치의 놀라운 결말.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
바바라 핀치의 놀라운 결말.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream.
아역 스타였던 바바라야는 비명
Now
소리로
at
위협했다.
16, she was all washed up. A has-been.
16세가
But
된
in a lucky
그녀는
break, she'd been
나도
asked to
읽자.
perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
비명 소리로 유명해졌구나.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
원숭이거인.
Okay, I'm hearing
익숙하네요, 그
frustration,
원숭이거인.
but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight.
저도
Police are
읽어주고
urging
싶은데
residents to...
제 말보다 글씨가 너무 빨라요.
That came from the basement.
죄송해요.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
이제 내가 컨트롤해야 하네. 돌립시다.
And
하나,
as she
둘,
wound the
셋,
key,
넷.
she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
연출 끝내주지 않습니까?
Bridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
아싸.
Rick?
렉?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep
남자친구 내쫓고
watching the late
목발만 남겼네.
show. Hours later,
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
그것은 집안에서 들리는 소리였다.
Oh dear.
저런.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
괴물들이 그녀를
She
놀라게
saw
하려고
what
왔다.
kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself.
미스터리 장르는 미스터리?
Here, Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
그녀의 귀.
Now that's what I call
무섭다.
a real eerie tale.
이야. 그걸 개 들어간 거냐? 이야귀? 오케이, 한 명의 이야기를 더 알게 됐네요.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
오, 아직도 안 썩었네? 다 안 썩었네? 신기하네. 이제 진짜 뭐 어떻게 하지? 진짜
I
이
guess
집
now I know
다니기
why Mom
너무
didn't like me playing with the music box.
힘드네. 오르골을 찾읍시다, 여러분. 오르골.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
오르골이 어디 있을까요? 여기 있네. 올려봅시다. 반대로 돌리면 안 되는데. 아니, 반대로 말고. 이게 또 이 게임의 매력이라, 어찌 보면. 지하실.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
파상품 주사? 쇠가 많은가 보네, 확실히. 아까 냉장고.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
자, 냉장고.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
야, 이 뒤에 문이 있어. 대단하네요, 진짜 집안.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories,
항공호인가? 뭐지, 여기?
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
헛. 여름 뭐 있을 줄 알았는데 실망.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
황도,
I always
황도.
expected to be dead.
기껏 열어 나온 게 황도.
But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
또다시 까겠지, 황도. 에휴, 까지도 않아.
Even a monster on
배고픈데
the other
먹어야지.
side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
며칠째 황도 먹방을 보고 있다.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years.
이제 움직이자.
I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
진짜 집을 뭘로 만들어 놓은 거지?
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara.
아, 이게 윌터구나.
And Calvin.
아닌가?
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
진짜 연출 끝내준다.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
황도만
I
먹다
don't mind if I only
지겹어요.
have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
전철에 치여 죽었고요.
Walter
50살
died
먹은
when I was
아저씨가
6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
50살 먹은 아저씨가 전철에 치여 죽었어. 스릴. 자, 이제 그러면
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
가봅시다. 따라서.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
뭔가가
I don't want to
두려워서
make the same
숨었다.
mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
뭐지? 밤.
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse,
저주받은
we made
집안.
it real.
선생님 끊어진 지가 옛날이네.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
일기를 쓰고 있네요 지금.
But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
들어가야 하나? 아니겠지?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
뭔가가 저주가 있고 집안 사람들은 그것 때문에 죽었고 집안 사람들은 그 저주가 있다고 믿었다. 그래서 지금 생존자는 얘 한 명이에요. 얼리 액세스 끝나면 하겠습니다.
Had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness.
저 또 게임 하면은 엔딩을 봐야 좋아해서. 컵헤드도 해야 하는데. 뭐지? 여기 아닌가?
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
집 짓기 전에 묘지부터 만든다는 게 진짜 무섭다. 뒤로는 못 가고.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but
하겠습니다.
the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
스벤, 각자의 상징이 있네요. 바바라 핀치는
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
신기한 집안이네요.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
저기가 이전 집인가 보네요. 여긴 아니네.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
뭐라고 하는지 모르겠다. 일단 계속 돌아봐.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
그래서 저주받은 집안이랑 왕관.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now.
네, 오늘도
Part of me
고마웠어요.
thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
뭐지? 길이 달라졌나?
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
내 집 가기가 이렇게 힘들다니. 아, 저기 사다리 있구나.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
할아버지와 엄마가 닮았다.
They were both pretty intense.
난 이 곰이 강렬한데. 자, 이거 열어봅시다. 샘 할아버지구나.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
이렇게 확대해서 한번 찍어주고. 아, 진짜 연출 놀랍다.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
Did you want to get a picture of me or what?
응?
Come on already. I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Smile, Dawn.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
뭐 찍을까?
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
찍을 게 보여야 찍지. 막 찍나? 무슨? 막 찍어? 뭘 찍어야 하는 거지? 알아서 해서 펜탑을 얻어야 하니까 느낌은 엄청 좋겠다. 좋대? 이런 너무 뿌옇고. 봅시다. 나에게 뭘 찍어줘야 할지 알려주면 참 좋을 텐데.
Definitely should not have drunk all that
빨리
coffee.
찍으면 되는 거구나. 노상방뇨.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
일단 뭘 찍어야 할지 모르니까 일단 다 찍어봅시다.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip.
빨리 찍읍시다.
Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. You don't need to waste any more film on me, kiddo. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time.
사슴 사냥하러 왔나?
Give me a minute to check the map.
아빠 좀 그만 찍고 싶은데. 답을 알려달라.
Let's see.
그만 봐라 지도.
Maybe. Was it? Could have been.
Good eyes, Don.
아, 사진 찾기 되게 힘드네.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad,
Let me get behind you.
do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything.
빵.
Great shot, Don!
뭘 저렇게 슬퍼하지?
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
트라우마인가 이제. 사진을 놓고 이제 내가 가야 해.
Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about.
Dad!
이럴 수가. 이럴 수가. 이럴
Of all
수가.
these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
이렇게 허무하게 사람이 가는구나.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
이건 뭐지? 나무가 자랐네, 많군.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
나 읽은 것이 많다. 자.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Time's over, Gregory. It's time to...
내가 그레고리네.
Hold on, sweetie.
뭘 저렇게 화나셨을까? 뭐지? 그레고리.
He reminded me so much of Calvin.
켈빈하고 너무 닮았어.
Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
느낌이 들었어. 미안해 그래.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear that.
자.
I wish you could have told me. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
이렇게 또 한 명을 죽음을 알았습니다, 우린. 많이 채웠네. 아기도 죽고 다 죽네, 다 죽어. 그레고리.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
거스를
A
위한
poem
시.
for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
잠깐만.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
이것도 넣어볼까? 결혼식 현장이네요. 잠깐 뭐지? 잠깐만.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
와우, 가운데 손가락. 아빠한테 가운데 손가락들은 엄청난 아니었네.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
그냥 텐트 안으로 들어가는 것이었다.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
연출 진짜 끝내준다.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
나는 바랬다. 팬트는 지가 손쉽네요. 이럴 수가.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
Gus.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
이렇게 또 한 명의 죽음을 알았네요. 여긴가? 이거 어렸을 때 해봤었는데.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
나이 먹어서 못하겠네.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
엄마 방? 일단 가봅시다.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
열 수 있네.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
영어를
Louis was born a year later.
직업을 가졌고 윌슨을 태어났다. 올라가야겠네요.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
집이 커지는 게 익숙하더라. 안 쓰는 방은 계속 남겨두네.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last.
교실 같네요.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
에디가 성을 준 것으로 종말이 시작되었다. 정말? 밀턴.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
밀턴은 그림을 좋아하는 오빠였나? 어쨌든 여기로 열 수 있네요. 올라가야 하는구나. 밀턴이 왕이네. 마법의 붓.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
오. 마법의 북을 그리는 걸 그리네. 그렸네. 밀턴 핀치는 저렇게 갔습니까?
was 4 when Milton disappeared.
뭐 이렇게 의문적으로 다 사라지네. 옛날 성을 그린 것 같고 기찰스럽게 생겼네. 내려갈까요?
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
어허, 옆으로도 갈 수 있네?
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself.
루이스는 자신을 비난했다.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
그래도 오래 살아있었네, 루이스는.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room. Except Louis.
되게 몽환적인 방이다. 방이 요트네? 요트를 박아다가 만들어놨네, 방을. 갑시다. 이것은 물담대.
Louis's room smelled very familiar. That part of him lived on.
좋은 냄새는 아닌 것 같나 보다.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that had not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Louis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Louis. So I let him go on.
그래서 그를 내버려두고 누가요?
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
아, 이제 생선이 잘 안 보여.
He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him. All the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
루이스 토피아를 떠나서
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
New Louisville.
St. Louis.
성 루이스, 세인트 루이스, 세인트구나.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
집에 가는 거 있다니.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
내가 멋있는 여왕이 되는 건가?
The queen was on her own quest for.
내가 왜 여왕이 돼? 사악한 뱀을 찾아라고.
Radiant rainbows.
안 돼, 빛나는 무지개가 됐어. 들이받을 수만 있어.
He followed the sound of her.
넘어뜨렸어. 전자 시타르?
Electric sitar.
전자장비가 어떻게 있어?
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
이제 커트하는 것도
He
보이지도
knew
않아.
the world was all in his imagination.
듣고 오게 될 비주얼이
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
이 정도 착각이 심하네요.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
쪽문. 집값 간다는 게 쪽문. 어? 어? 공장한다. 호하나? 어우 진짜 약쟁이였구나.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
뭐 하는 거야 이제? 오.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
거대 고양이. 올리? 뭐하네 진짜. 왕은 오른쪽으로 가는 것이.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
결국 목을 잘 땄네다니.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him. He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
계속하겠습니다.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
갑자기 짐을 쌌고 어? 올라가야지.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
나는 남고 싶었다. 이건 뭐지? 분홍색? 떡볶이인가?
But I understand why we left.
오, 엄청나. 에디스 맘.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
엄마는 모든 것을 남겨두고 떠났다.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
집 진짜 어디 가는데 뭐 1km씩 가겠다. 집 들어가는데 한 30분씩 걸리겠다.
All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
마지막 밤 이야기. 내 방이네.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
자연스럽게 들어가네.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
History of the Edith Finches.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. No, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
터니까 글씨가 나와. 아, 글자였구나.
My mom didn't like to talk about it.
엄마는 그것에 대해 말하는 걸
But
좋아하지
she started getting sick a lot.
아이고.
The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
흑화되었다.
And then I was alone.
뭐야?
The last Finch left alive.
마지막으로 살아남은 핀치.
Until I found out about you.
너에 대해 알기 전까지는 그랬지.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
이 모든 것에 대해 뭐라고 말해야 될지 모르겠다.
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand
영원히
things.
산다면 이런 것들을 이해할
But as it
시간이
is,
되지.
I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes
지금으로서 눈을 뜨고 있는 것이 우리가 할 수 있는 최선책이다.
and appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
이상하고 짧은 삶을 간신히 감사히 여길 수밖에.
This journal was supposed to be for you.
이 일지는 너를 위한 것이었다.
But now I hope you'll never see it.
하지만 이제는 네가 절대로 볼 일이 없었으면 좋겠다.
I just want to meet you
뭐라고?
and tell you all these stories myself.
이 이야기를 직접 해주고 싶었다.
But I guess if you're reading this now,
하지만 이걸 지금 읽고 있다면
things didn't work out that way.
그렇게 되지 못한 것이겠지. 태어나는 건가? 태어난다.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
엄마가 쓴 거를 딸이 읽었네. 딸인가? 아들인가? 아들이네. 에디스 핀치. 누가 묻어줬지? 이거? 제작자들의 어린 시절 사진인가? 고마워 요한. 도전자 과제가 달성되었습니다. 사운드 디자이너도 있구나. 컴퓨터 지휘자, 추가 사운드 디자인, QA 리드, 디자인 컨설턴트, 에디셔널 VFX. 뭔가 중복되는 직책은 없네. 아, 있구나. 에디셔널 애니메이션, 에디셔널 프로그래밍, 에디셔널 라이팅. 수많은 사람들이 참여해야지 이 정도 퀄리티가 나오는구나. 아무리 그래도. 와, 끝내주겠기네. Enjoy, thank you. 더 에디스 핀치 팀 2012에서 2017 자이언트 스페로우에서 정말 잘 만들어낸 게임. The End. 그래도 적지만 오늘도 같이 게임해 주셔서 감사하고요. 사실은 이 게임은 게임성이라기보다는 뛰어난 연출력 때문에 한 게임이기 때문에 연출이 뛰어난 게임을 보고 싶으시다면 이 게임은 꼭 한 번쯤 해봐야 할 것 같습니다. 근데 좀 게임 플레이가 스스로 깨달아야 하는 게 좀 있어가지고 그게 좀 힘들었네요. 다음에도 게임 할 때 같이 게임 하도록 하죠. 수고하셨습니다.